So you've just heard about the history of Ayurveda, how Ayurveda has evolved over a period of time, how it has survived, and not just survived but actually grown, enhanced itself through all the ravages of time, the onslaughts of different empires coming in, colonialism, and all these different things that happened. So we also heard about the Kerala tradition of Ayurveda, which was relatively untouched by these different invasions and so on. Now, what is the current scenario of Ayurveda? What is happening right now? Let's take a look at that. When you talk about the current scenario, you can divide it into two parts. One is what is happening within the country, that is, or the Indian subcontinent, and the second is what is happening on the international scene. As we discussed earlier, Ayurveda has a preventive aspect and a curative aspect. If you look largely in India or the Indian subcontinent, you will find that Ayurveda is more practiced as a full-fledged medical system, more as a curative option, and not much as a preventive option. But if you look on the international scene, Ayurveda is seen more as a system of holistic wellness, a preventive system, a balancing system by people all over the world. So this is a fundamental difference between how Ayurveda is being practiced within the country and outside. Now, there are a few other things which we can look at. If you look at what is happening within the country, we find that there are many changes happening. Ayurveda, which was traditionally being taught in Gurukula system in certain selected families and so on, has now moved on to more organized colleges, organized system of education. Under the department of, under the health ministry, there is a department called Ayush, which is dealing with the systematic propagation of the science of Ayurveda and systematic courses well in line with what is the different courses of modern medicine have also come into being since independence. And this is also being regulated by another body called the CCIM, which is the Central Council of Indian Medicine. And in order to achieve this, different people are elected from different states, and this council basically has decides the affiliation and the standards by which Ayurveda is being taught in the country. In addition to all that, we also see a lot of curative Ayurvedic clinics or Panchakarma clinics mushrooming all over the country. An inflow of hundreds and thousands of tourists, almost 1 million tourists are visiting the state of Kerala alone to receive Ayurvedic treatments and rejuvenation therapies. So this is increasing day by day, and it is bringing great amount of revenue into the country. There is also a huge exodus of export of Ayurvedic medicines that is going on from India to various parts of the world. So these are the different things that are happening within the country. And if you look at what is happening internationally, the popularity of Ayurveda has become possible mainly due to the fact that the popularity of Ayurveda has been mainly due to the fact of people practicing yoga. Yoga has traveled all over the world since the 1970s with the help of people like B.K.S. Iyengar and others, and it has become quite popular in the world today. Now, people who are practicing yoga, as they make further progress, they begin to understand that there are other systems in the Vedic fold, within the Vedic fold, which also complement the practice of yoga in many wonderful constructive ways. And one of these sciences is Ayurveda. Ayurveda, which is the healing part of the Vedic tradition, and yoga is mainly a spiritual part of the yogic tradition. So as yoga in the Western world started becoming more and more therapeutic, used for healing purposes, then this role of Ayurveda started becoming more and more prominent. A lot of people who are practitioners of yoga are looking towards Ayurveda, looking forward to learning Ayurveda to complement and enhance their yoga practices. And thus we find a huge number of students who are coming to India to learn this science of Ayurveda, as well as a lot of Ayurvedic schools opening up in different parts of the world. Ayurveda has come a long way since, and today it is huge world phenomenon and growing with every passing day. We find world conventions and world congresses happening. There was the World Ayurveda Conference held in Pune in 2012. There is now the Global Festival of Ayurveda, which is about to take place on the 20th of February in Cochin in Kerala. There are also huge seminars taking place internationally. The World Ayurvedic Congress in Canada in 2012, and just in December 2013 there was the AYUCON, which was a huge Ayurvedic conference held in the Middle East in Dubai. These are international developments that are taking place, showing that a lot of people across the world are coming together, integrating to understand and propagate this science of Ayurveda. And also there are different organizations being formed. For example, in Europe you have the EURAMA, which is the European Association of Ayurvedic Practitioners. In the United States you have the NAMA, which is the National Ayurvedic Medical Association. In Australia you have the AAA, that is the Australian Ayurvedic Association, which was formed as early as 1988. And all these associations are holding national conferences in their own countries every year. So this actually tells us very loudly that Ayurveda is poised to become a real force in healing, in health and wellness in the world in the time to come. Before we conclude this section, I would like to bring your attention to a very interesting topic called as the myths about Ayurveda.